Let's take a moment to pause. Soften your breath, release any tension you've been holding, and just arrive here for a second. Because this space is not about figuring everything out, it's about allowing something to settle within you. This reflection carries the feeling of an answer, especially if you've been asking for guidance, clarity, or even just a sense of peace in something that has felt uncertain or emotionally active. This is what can feel like informed prayer, where something you've already been holding in your heart is now being reflected back to you in a way that brings understanding rather than pressure. And as you listen, you may notice certain parts resonate more deeply, almost like they meet you exactly where you are. Starting with unexpected reunion, clarified by new creative project. There is something here about reconnection, but not just in a surface level way. This feels tied to purpose, to something that is opening through this connection, whether that's a person, an idea, or even a part of yourself that you had set aside. This is not simply about revisiting the past. This is about something from your past or something familiar returning in a new form, one that now aligns with who you are becoming. The Holy Spirit is showing that this reconnection carries creative energy, meaning it leads somewhere, it builds something, it expands something, and it is not random. If you've been sensing someone or something coming back into your awareness, this is a gentle confirmation that it may be connected to something you are meant to create, express, or step into, not in the same way as before, but in a way that reflects your growth. Then moving into dare to be vulnerable, clarified by the power of gratitude. There is a soft but important shift being asked of you, because vulnerability here is not about exposure, it is about openness without fear, about allowing yourself to be seen without needing to be fully guarded. And when this is paired with gratitude, it changes the entire energy of how you relate to others and to yourself. Because instead of approaching connection from protection or hesitation, you begin to approach it from appreciation, from presence, from recognizing what is already there rather than focusing on what could go wrong. The Holy Spirit is guiding you to understand that gratitude softens fear, and when you allow yourself to feel grateful even in small moments, it naturally opens you, making vulnerability feel less like risk and more like alignment. God is not asking you to force openness, but to allow it to unfold through a shift in how you see what is already in front of you. Then at the center we have endurance, clarified by 555 change. And this is where the message deepens, because it shows that what you have been moving through has not been easy, and there has been a level of patience, resilience, and internal strength required that may not always be visible to others. But this endurance has not been without purpose. It has been preparing you for change, not small change, but a shift that moves you into a new level of alignment. The presence of 555 shows that things are actively transforming, even if it doesn't feel fully stable yet. And endurance here is not about holding on indefinitely, it's about staying grounded long enough for the shift to complete. The Holy Spirit is showing that what you've been waiting for is already in motion, and while it may feel uncomfortable at times, it is leading you into something that reflects your growth rather than your past limitations. Then we come to the 2 peace cards, and this is where the message becomes very clear, because the first peace card says, "Nothing can disrupt my peace. Make being peaceful a priority in your life. Practice peace every day." And directly beneath it, we have the second peace card. "All worries and anxieties are leaving my mind, making space for calmness and peace." This is not repetition, this is progression. The top card is the choice, the decision to prioritize peace, to return to it intentionally even when things feel uncertain. And the bottom card is the result of that choice, where anxiety begins to release, where the mind begins to settle, where calmness becomes natural rather than something you have to reach for. The Holy Spirit is making this very clear, that peace is not something you wait to feel, it is something you choose. And when you choose it consistently, everything within you begins to reorganize around that decision. God is not asking you to eliminate every challenge or every uncertainty, but to remain rooted in peace as those things move around you. Because that is what creates stability, not external control, but internal alignment. And finally, Self-discovery, clarified by release to create, brings everything inward in a very complete way, because as you move through these shifts, as connections change, as new opportunities open, as peace becomes more present, you are also coming into a deeper understanding of yourself. But this understanding requires release. It requires letting go of what no longer fits, what no longer aligns, what no longer reflects who you are becoming. And this is not loss. This is space being made for something new, something more aligned, something that flows more naturally with where you are now. The Holy Spirit is guiding you to trust that what you release is not being taken from you. It is making room for what is meant to grow, and that growth is not forced. It is something that unfolds when you allow yourself to move forward without carrying what no longer belongs. When you step back and take in the full message, what becomes clear is that this is a moment of gentle but powerful transition, one that is rooted in connection, openness, patience, and peace. If you've been praying for guidance, for clarity, for reassurance that you are moving in the right direction, this reflection carries that answer, not in a loud or overwhelming way, but in a steady, grounded way that meets you where you are. The Holy Spirit is not pushing you forward forcefully, but guiding you inward first, so that everything that unfolds externally is aligned with what has already settled within you. So just stay here for a moment, let your breath slow, let your mind soften, and allow yourself to sit with what feels true, because you don't need to take everything with you. You don't need to hold on to what is already shifting. You only need to remain present enough to recognize what is unfolding and trust that what is coming into your life now is aligned with the version of you that is ready to receive it. And in that space, peace is not something distant. It is something already beginning to form within you.